after much thinking and your feedback, I have figured out what was missing from the planner matrix, and it is the Z-axis. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rachel. I do all sorts of planner and stationery stuff here on the YouTubes, including being the creator of the Planner Matrix, which is a system I devised to help you figure out what your planning personality, planning style is. It's super cool. I have a full playlist of all my Planner Matrix videos down linked in the description below, so go check that out. This video is going to be an addendum to my original Planner Matrix concept. Basically, the Planner Matrix has an X-axis, which covers your functional style, a Y-axis that covers your decorative style, and now a new Z-axis, it's like coming right at you out of the 3D cube, that covers what I'm calling your notebook purpose. Essentially, the Z-axis goes from record keeping, kind of like journaling, anything you want to look back on, all the way to planning or anything you're doing for the future. Some of you guys may have taken the quiz that I have associated with the Planner Matrix. This is not going to be reflected in the quiz at all, so if you are curious about the quiz, you can check out my link in the description down below, and that will have more information for you. This isn't reflected in the quiz yet. Someday, hopefully, maybe, I'd like to have it reflected in the quiz, but for now, the quiz just covers the regular Planner Matrix, and this can be seen as sort of a conceptual addition to my original idea. As always, if you guys like it, let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will take you over to the flat lay now to see what's up. So if you've been on my planner channel for any amount of time, you've probably seen something that looks like this. This is the Planner Matrix. Basically, the X-axis covers one's planning functional style, so functionality. Did I spell that right? Functionality? Good. And that's the X-axis. And then the Y-axis is decoration, so Y equals decoration. These are not two diametrically opposed forces. They work in conjunction to create one's planning style. So I will leave the full video breakdown of the Planner Matrix up in the cards above, so you can go check that out and check out what all the personality types are in depth. But I'm just going to quickly recap that here. So for the X-axis, I think everyone's functional style is either changing a bunch, so changing. People like to experiment, or they like to be consistent, right? They like to have consistency. And then people's decorative style, which may be in their planner, sometimes people like to be embellished, have a lot of deco, and sometimes people like to be very minimal, no deco, or little to no deco. Everyone falls along this line, everyone falls along this line, and once you plot yourself on one of these four quadrants, you can know your planner personality. So you guys are probably familiar with this, but maximalism up here, the maximalist is always changing and experimenting, and they like a lot of decoration. The scientist is down here. The scientist likes a lot of experimentation, but they like minimal decoration, so they experiment with different planning styles, but don't decorate as much. Then the minimalist is over here. The minimalist likes consistent layouts, not a lot of change, and then very minimal to no decoration. And then the artist is up here, and the artist likes consistent layouts, consistent functional style, but also embellishes, adds a lot of decoration. So again, more information in the video linked up in the cards and the playlist about the Planner Matrix down below. So lots of you were telling me in the comments that you felt like sometimes you were maximalist, sometimes you were minimalist, sometimes you were the scientist, sometimes you were the minimalist. It depended on what you were doing in your planner. And that prompted me to think about the hidden Z-axis of the Planner Matrix. So the hidden Z-axis sort of comes out at us here. This is the Z-axis, and it covers planner, or rather notebook purpose. So what is the purpose of your notebook? Are you all the way over here and you are planning? Is it a planner, or is it a record keeper / journal? Are you trying to are you trying to look forward, or are you trying to look backward? Yes, is it backward looking or forward looking? Let me demonstrate this in a slightly different way. So if the Planner Matrix is a 3D cube, my math teachers would be so proud of me for drawing 3D graphs. Thank you to my sophomore geometry teacher. You taught me everything I know. So if the Planner Matrix is a cube like this, the central dot, this dot, is in the middle right here. And going up, we have deco. This line is decoration, and this is a lot, a little. And then we have the X-axis, which is functionality, so changing styles, spelled that wrong, we're all a work in progress, and then consistent. And then the Z-axis is coming at us here, so it goes back here, and it comes forward, and this is purpose, with planners being here, and journals being over here. Okay, you can also see that like along this line, so this is like planners and journals, right? Parallel to the Z-axis, it's sort of coming out at us. So in this 3D cube of planner reality that we have here, in the 3D cube of planner reality, we have a lot a lot going on. I've already talked a lot about the difference between like functional styles. If you want to know more about this, again, video linked up in the cards about finding your functional style, finding where you fall across this x-axis. And I've also made similar content about finding where you fall across this decorative line. Do you like a lot of decoration, a little bit of decoration? Again, a link up in the cards. And the whole playlist about the planner matrix will be linked down below, so you can check that out. But so today, we want to figure out what to do with this z-axis of notebook purpose. Okay? Because basically a lot of you were telling me that you didn't know whether or not you were really a maximalist or a minimalist or an artist or a scientist or whatever, because sometimes you're one or the other, or the quiz that I made, again, information down in the description box below, the quiz that I made plotted you equally as like we were both minimalist and both maximalist. So we should all be looking at this z-axis in terms of like what notebook are we qualifying these personalities with. So if you approach the planner matrix with your planner, right? It's just something that's forward looking. Maybe in your planner, you like things to be really minimal, you like things to be really sparse. Very consistent, has to be the minimalist. But maybe in your record keeping and your journaling, you actually like to draw a lot. You don't really change it up a lot, but you like to draw a lot. So your minimal record keeping is your artistic side. Let me show you some examples because I think that might help all of our little brains understand what the heck is going on in the 3D cube of planner reality. So this is a pocket bullet journal that I've been using for the past couple days, and in it I have extremely minimal, extremely functional layouts. Boom. So this is my weekly layout. It is really just planning. It is forward looking. It has to-do lists. It has priorities. These are all super planning focused stuff. It's all about what's coming next and what I have to do. You can see I'm also not really a decorative person in this planner. There's no added decoration. Yeah, I use a different like font here or whatever, but there's not a lot of frills going on, not a lot of extra added stuff, because that simply does not work for me when I'm planning. So if we want to plot this on the 3D cube of planner reality, right? We would say, okay, it's very minimal. There's not a lot of decoration. So it's down here, minimal decoration. And then it is a planner first. It's not a record keeper of any kind. It's just planning. So it's definitely on this side of the square. It's forward. It's closest to us. Planners. It's a planner. And then we could say it's consistent. It's very consistent. This is the same layout that I used the previous week and that I will use the next week as well. So I'm consistent in this planner. So it's very consistent. So it's all the way over here. So it's here, here, and here, or forward closest to us. So this is like the most this particular corner that a planner or a notebook could be in this graph, right? When I'm planning, I am very minimalist. Now compare this to the opposite end of the spectrum, my tarot journal. Now obviously this is a journal, so already it's gonna be back here. It's gonna be along this back wall of the 3D cube of planner reality. And in my journal, I like to be super decorative. I'm pasting things in, I'm using washi tape. I even have like a little like envelope that you can like open and pull things out of. So it's super decorative, super unique. I like to change it up week to week or entry to entry rather. So I'm pasting in my ephemera. This is like an affirmation that I carried around with me for a while. There's photos that I print out. I'm using different pens. I'm pasting in the kind of stuff that I get from different tarot decks and stuff like that. All of this is very maximalist in terms of decoration as well. So not only is it along this back wall here, it's definitely a journal, it's definitely a record keeper, it's also super decorative. So already it's along this top line. And then it changes a lot. So this is a journal for the full moon. These are journals for tarot readings. But this is just like a spread that like is celebrating the Alleyman's Tarot, which is a great tarot deck. So it's also not super consistent. I don't like write in it every single day. I switch it up based on what I need. I have a lot of different things that I do in here. So it is going to be changing a lot, and it's in terms of its functional style. It's basically a catch-all for all my tarot stuff. It just changes all the time. So it's on the back wall because it's a journal. It's up here along this top line because it is very decorative, and it's way over here because it is changing constantly. So I'm like the most maximalist ever that I ever am
in my tarot journal. Now, record keeping, you can also be both. You can also do both things in one planner, and I'll show you an example. This is my Hobonichi Weeks. It is what I consider my everyday carry. For the most part, it is a planner, right? For the most part, I'm just forward looking. So this is a good example. This is just forward looking planning stuff. There's a little bit of decoration going on here. It is color coded, and I do use stickers to mark my paydays. But for the most part, it's pretty minimal, pretty basic, just like the way I like to plan my stuff. Same thing here. Pretty minimal, pretty basic, only a little bit of decoration, only a little bit of fluff. And it's all forward planning. This is all stuff saying like, this is President's Day, this is Valentine's Day. It's nothing like, this is what happened on that day, or I walked this many steps on that day. There's no record keeping or things that I want to look back on. But when we get to my weeks, I do like to have a column that has memory keeping. Sometimes if I have extra space on the side of the notes column, I will do a little mini journal. For the most part, my planners are very minimal, not a lot of decoration. They have events, they have priorities, super forward looking, super minimal, but occasionally I do add a bunch of memories and stickers and things like that into my memories column, or I journal a little bit to just add a little bit more of personality into my planner spreads. So this is definitely a planner, but in terms of where it is on this like planning, and really this shouldn't say journals, it should say record keeping. So in terms of planner or record keeper, it's actually kind of here, right? It's kind of somewhere, it's closer to planning, but it does have a little bit of record keeping, a little bit of memory keeping. So it's kind of like, it's like a third of the way down on this line, right? On this Z axis. Now for the most part, this stays really, really consistent week to week in this notebook. So I do the same thing over here, events, priorities, memories, notes, right? So it's super consistent. So that says it's over here somewhere on this side, right? And am I really artistic? Well, kind of. I do a little bit of stickers, but I'm not super artistic. So I'm somewhere like here. Just below a lot of decoration. Just a little bit of decoration makes me happy. This particular book would still be plotted in the minimalist sort of quadrant down here, right? Because it's kind of a planner, so it's like forward, it's coming out at us, but it's still consistent and it's still a little minimal. So you can definitely do both. You can definitely have a little bit of record keeping and a little bit of planning alongside one another. But if you're looking at the planner matrix and you're wondering like, what style am I? Like, who am I? Am I a minimalist? Am I a maximalist? Am I an artist? Or am I a scientist? Think about what book you're actually analyzing through the use of the planner matrix, and it can help to teach you basically more about where your minimalist tendencies lie or where your maximalist tendencies lie. I know for me, I learned so much even just in this video, like looking at my tarot journal versus looking at my planners, because my planners are super consistent. They're the same across all my planners. This is the way that I like to plan. This is what helps me be functional. But when I'm planning creatively, especially around like spiritual stuff, or when I'm like record keeping creatively around spiritual stuff, I should say, I really like to change it up because I like to go with what my mood is saying, what my mood is feeling, things like that. And I do want to also say, like, this isn't to say that all journals are also super decorative, because it's really not. It's really not. This is, again, just the type of notebook that I'm using. I have another notebook that is a journal that I just keep by my bed. It's an A6 Hobonichi Techo, so it's about this size, and I just keep it next to my bed. I really don't share it or show it a lot on this channel because it is really personal. It's like where I write my personal stuff. But I did do a in my latest memory keeping rant on this channel. I'll leave a link up in the cards. I did talk a little bit about that planner, so you can go see that if you want to see that. But basically, it's just pen and paper. I have one highlighter that I use occasionally to make things pop, but it's really just pen and paper. But it is a record keeper. It is a journal. So it's way back here, but it is super minimalist and consistent. Okay? So it would still be considered a minimalist sort of record keeper or journal, if that makes sense. It's just pen and paper. It's just longhand journaling. It's just that.
I think that's all I have for now on the Z axis of the planner matrix. If you guys have thoughts, comments, concerns, questions, criticisms, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I will head over there and we'll talk about it. I really like this framework and this idea of thinking about your sort of planner personality and your planning style, because I think it really accounts for all the different cool things that we do in our planners and in our notebooks. So if you agree, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, for subscribing, for being awesome. I will see you guys in the next one.